Hollywood movie mogul Harvey Weinstein is on a leave of absence from his studio this morning after several women alleged he sexually harassed them. Actress Ashley Judd told the New York Times about an alleged incident in his hotel room nearly 20 years ago. She claimed he was in a bathrobe and asked to give her a massage or watch him take a shower. Judd told the Times, "I said no a lot of ways, a lot of times, and he always came back at me with some new ask." The Times reports Weinstein reached at least 8 settlements, each of up to $150,000, with women who alleged improper conduct.
Weinstein's lawyer tells CBS News, quote, "The New York Times published a story that is saturated with false and defamatory statements about Harvey Weinstein. We sent the Times the facts and evidence, but they ignored it and rushed to publish." His lawyer says he is preparing a lawsuit against the paper.
Weinstein said in an interview yesterday with the New York Post, quote, "I bear responsibility for my actions, but the reason I'm suing is because of the Times' inability to be honest with me and their reckless reporting." New York Times correspondent Jodi Kantor is a CBS News contributor. She spent 4 months investigating this story with her colleague Megan Twohey, and she joins us at the table. We'll get to Harvey Weinstein's claims against your paper that you were reckless, but this was a very extensive investigation on your part. Ashley Judd is the most prominent name listed in your story, but you have many women who are speaking on the record about allegations that they are saying against Harvey Weinstein. What stands out to you?
What stands out to me about this reporting is the pattern of allegations. We spoke to women from many different places, many different ages. Most of them did not know one another. This was a 25-year time span, and yet so many of the women had similar stories. For example, there are allegations in our story about a young assistant, Laura Madden, being asked to sort of exchange massages with Harvey Weinstein in a hotel in Dublin in 1991. There's another set of allegations in our story about an assistant being forced to give him a naked massage in a hotel room in Los Angeles in 2015. 2 different places in the world, 2 different women, don't know each other whatsoever, and yet the pattern is so similar.
There are also lots of settlements.
Yes, so there is a legal and financial trail to these allegations. I think it's important to explain what a settlement is. Often when a woman feels that she's been sexually harassed, the way it's resolved is that a settlement is reached. The woman gets some financial recompense. However, the thing that is a little more concerning is that the women often have to sign confidentiality agreements saying that they won't tell anybody what happened. So the big question of our story is, how could Harvey Weinstein enjoy all of this public acclaim, collect all these Oscars over the years, while in the background, in private, these allegations are piling up? So settlements are part of the answer, because the women who have these stories, in many cases, we're not allowed to speak publicly about them.
How did this come about, Jodi? Because you're saying that you even started investigating Harvey Weinstein, and you're saying a lot of people knew about this.
That is the question. We spoke to dozens of former Miramax and Weinstein Company employees who said that they knew that something was wrong in the workplace. Either they were victims, alleged victims themselves, some of them knew stories from colleagues or had witnessed things, and then others said that they just had this vague sort of, half knowledge about something not being quite right. The number of them who said that they did anything is very small. So I think the question is, who protected the women and who protected Harvey Weinstein?
Well, Jodi, why now? Ashley Judd said this happened 20 years ago. What has led to this particular moment?
Well, I think in part it's about the commitment that the Times has to telling these stories about sexual harassment. We've done reporting in the last year. We broke the Bill O'Reilly story about allegations of sexual harassment at Fox. We've reported on very similar allegations in Silicon Valley, where female entrepreneurs felt they were pressured by investors. And as investigative reporters, we feel like we have this commitment to putting the puzzle pieces together and asking the big questions about these stories.
Now, what about the attitude of men within the company and the board of directors?
It's a great question. Both men and women helped us with this reporting. And there's a really striking quote from a guy named Mark Gill, a former Miramax executive in the story. He says that at Miramax, everything looked golden on the outside, but inside it was a mess, and the treatment of women was the biggest mess of all.
Weinstein's attorney tells us that your investigation relies on mostly hearsay accounts and a faulty report. We sent the Times the facts and evidence, but they ignored it and rushed to publish. Now, the lawyer did not respond to our request to elaborate on what he sent you all. But what is your response to that? That they sent you evidence that refutes this? Harvey Weinstein, in fact, has called the paper reckless. What do you say to that?
Well, first of all, the story relies on a lot of documentation on the record, names of women, dates of incidents, and remember that one of our sources was internal company records. We were able to find out that some of these allegations were documented inside the companies and yet never shared with the public, and arguably never addressed that well. As far as our interactions with them, they knew our story was coming for months. We shared the allegations in the story with them before publication, and they had a chance to address them, and we stand by the accuracy and the fairness of our reporting.
All right, Jodi, have other women come forward since this story?
We'll see.
All right, Jodi Kantor, thank you very much for joining us at the table today.